Welcome back to another Story Tim, where I tell my favorite stories from my 50 years here on this planet. This story takes place in Georgetown, Texas, which is just a little bit north of Austin, Texas, when I was working in construction. After I got out of Baylor, I spent a couple of years where I would help build houses and stuff to make money, and then I would go and travel around the world. And this was one of those times when I was in Georgetown working on houses. And I can remember we were framing up the inside of a house where, they build the skeleton of the house. Well, I did. And then we'd have the guys that would do the siding and stuff. And we were working on the second floor of this house where you were up there and, you kind of walk along these beams, when you're putting in the rafters and stuff. And so we were working on that. Well, the time of this time they were putting in the septic tank. And in this area of Georgetown, it's very, very hard rock. Well, a lot of it's flint rock. A lot of it's limestone, which is pretty soft, but there's also a lot of flint rock over there, which is very, very hard rock. And they were going to blow, they were using dynamite in this stuff. So they had told us, well, we're getting ready to blow, do some holes. And so they had this big metal cover that they would put over the holes and they would set off this dynamite. Well, we were inside the house, and again, the house had siding and walls and stuff like this. So we were like, well, they're doing that outside. There's a big metal cover on there. So, we don't have to worry about that. So we were up there and doing our business, doing with the nail guns and stuff and doing these rafters. And so we hear this boom, and we're like, and then all of a sudden this rock that's about the size of a football comes and blows through that wall and shoots right between me and the guy that were over there and goes out the roof. And we're like, what the hell was that? Well, so we went over there and sure enough we could see, we went over to the cover of where they had done this dynamite, and this fragment of flint rock, which I don't know if you know, like when they do, like the Indians would do flint, so they would chip off like really sharp edges. Well, apparently this very dense projectile that was like a glass almost, that had a sharp edge, when it blew through, it actually penetrated through that metal cover, had shot through the siding, through the sheetrock wall, had come right between me and the other carpenter that were working this thing, and then shot all the way through the roof. And so, of course, after something like that happens and they say fire in the hole, we're getting ready to shoot another one off. After that, we said, screw this carpentry stuff. We went there behind there, got behind a tree, got down there and covered our heads because we didn't want to get a rock in the head. Amen. And that was another Story Tim.